Hey guys, welcome to podcast number 8. We're going to be talking about movies and TV shows and maybe some documentaries as well. We've got a special guest here today, known as Kobe the Cat. You won't say
So
much.
he's not here every time.
I think you'll find he prefers to go by Sir Kobe a lot.
That was so loud. I think that was
He's introduced himself now.
Right. We've got a list to start on. Do we want to start with TV, movies, or documentaries?
Let's go with TV.
Okay. So, Jacob, what are you currently watching?
I am currently watching. So the two that I'm mainly watching at the moment, one's an anime, which is My Hero Academia, which is just the season 5's just started of that. So that's cool. It's just one of those shows where I've kind of watched it all over the years, so I kind of, when you just feel obliged to continue.
Yeah.
Sally, okay?
She almost got like Kobe tries strangling himself kind of thing.
Oh. I agree.
I'm sorry, he's just got a lot to say. He's like, I am currently watching Cats TV. It's all about how to catch your own food and survive. And I am much better than the cats on there. They are incompetent.
Is Cats TV anything like Tots TV?
Yeah, probably. He's so cute. Oh my god. The thing is, if I let him go, he's just gonna get on the desk and stand in the way. Oh man.
So the other show I'm currently watching, I say currently watching, like on and off, which is Money Heist on Netflix.
I watched a few episodes of that.
It's good. I spent the whole first season flicking between the Spanish and English version, because obviously the Spanish is the original. But then I was just kind of like, I kind of want to do something else and have it on in the background, so I ended up just sticking with the English.
So I watched it up until they got to the heist location and did a heist. So I don't know what they're going to do after that, because if it's called Money Heist, then they're already doing the heist by the time I was watching, and there's still more to go.
I think I'm on season 3 or something like that, and they're still doing the heist. So.
Oh wow! Okay. Big heist.
It's a very long heist. It's not Lion One. It's just called Money Heist. There is no plural.
Sally, what are you watching?
He says through a yawn. Well, I am watching Dynasty again. I feel like I'm currently flipping between watching comfort shows and new things. I'm trying to watch more new things at the moment because I feel like I get stuck in a rut of just constantly watching my comfort shows one by one over and over again. But I have seen Dynasty before, so I'm not doing a very good job.
That is on my watch list. I think I watched the first episode and was like, this is really cool, actually, and then never got around to the rest of it.
It's genuinely a really good show. But I feel like I've chosen to watch this again, though. And I'm kind of allowing myself, because recently I've been watching Netflix while I've been playing Animal Crossing, because I just got a Switch again. Nope. And I like to kind of have something on in the background because, I don't know, I'm lonely, I guess.
Silence is deafening.
Yeah, kind of. I like to be, because Animal Crossing's just really chill. So while I'm just wandering around chatting to my neighbors, I like to be able to just look up and be watching something. And it's a lot easier when you've seen it before and you know what's happening. but it kind of needs to be something interesting as well. So, hello. So yeah, I'm watching Dynasty. Stop. But I am also watching Once Upon a Time with Alan.
Snap.
But I've also seen that before, but Alan hasn't. So I feel like by default I can get away with that. And we're also watching Pokemon, which of course I've already seen before. But when I'm like super, super depressed, I like to watch kid shows. So whenever I'm crying, Alan puts Pokemon on.
I have no complaint at this.
Well, not straight away. He doesn't just leave me crying and go put Pokemon on. He waits till I finish crying and he's like, "Do you want to watch Pokemon?" And I'm just like, "Yeah."
I'd rather we made everyone think that you started crying and I just go watch Pokemon. You were just in your bed crying. I've just gone, right, I'm going to put Pokemon on.
Yeah, no, he puts Pokemon on and he makes me strawberry milk and tucks me up with my blanket. It's very cute. So
I don't mind this because I love kids shows.
Yeah. So I'm kind of inadvertently watching 3 things at once, but it's a lot more sense making than it sounds. What are you doing? But yeah, that's what I'm watching at the moment. Alan, what are you watching? Other than everything I just said.
So other than the 2 that we just said, obviously I'm watching Pokemon. I'm watching Once Upon a Time for the first time, which if you haven't seen it, like me, do, because it's really good, like enjoyable. Jacob, have you seen it?
No.
I'd highly recommend it.
I would tell you that I would watch it, but we all know that's not going to happen because there's just too much to watch.
No. And the other thing I'm watching at the minute, whilst I'm home alone and eating like tea or something, is the latest season of American Dad. Which it's literally just on while I eat, so I've got something to watch that isn't YouTube. Yeah, other than that, I'm not really watching anything at the minute. There's nothing really to watch.
I mean, you're watching 3 things, so that's more than.
I mean, yeah, but they've all got their purpose.
To be fair, what I completely didn't think about, and this kind of segues nicely into documentaries, I'm also watching Demi's documentary at the moment because that's casually being released like in really, really slow increments. Like it's probably not very slow, but for someone who wants to watch it all at once,
yeah,
it's being released very slowly. And I'm like, can you just release the next episode, please? Why can't you just release it all at once? I want to watch it all at once.
It's not just you that's thinking that. I was talking to somebody at work who is also watching it, and they said that they just want it all now because they're enjoying the show. Obviously, not enjoying the circumstances it ends up in, but like they're engrossed in it and would rather watch it all.
And like, it's not about her being sad; it's about her process of recovery. So it like, however much they're not enjoying it, like we kind of are enjoying it because it's watching her recover. So oh my god, my words. So like I want to see it all because like I feel like I've just been crying every time I've watched it, and I'm like, I just want to see the end.
We can like instead of sad cry.
Yeah, like I want to. Like I've currently watched 3 of the 4 parts and all these really emotional, like, words, video diaries.
Yeah.
Where she's like crying. And I just want to see this last part where she's probably happier. Hopefully happier. Like, at least we've got the album now. So there's that, I guess. But I want to watch this last part of the documentary. So I'm watching that at the moment too. And like just before that, I watched the old documentary. And then once the last part is out, I'm going to force Alan to watch them all.
You say force, but it's not really going to be like that difficult.
But yeah.
Are you watching any others, or is it just that one?
I mean, I'm not currently watching them. I have watched others. I've probably watched quite a few, but like in the last
Jacob's gone, this is too intellectual.
in the past like year or so, I've watched Motley Crue's The Dirt. I say in the past year or so, it was definitely much longer than that. I watched it like on the day it came out.
Yeah, same.
We watched it recently. Like,
But yeah, I
in the
watched
grand
it
scheme.
recently with Alan. And I've watched Miss Americana, which is Taylor Swift's documentary, again with Alan, and then before that on my own. I don't think I've watched any others super recently. But I probably have watched others at some point. I don't know. What about you guys?
Well, slightly going back onto the last point, because my brain, like, I didn't want to interrupt you while you were going on, but I had a point that I wanted to say. When you were saying about the long wait, it reminded me of another show that I've been watching, and it's just finished, which is Attack on Titan. But basically what they've done is they've ended it halfway through the season, and it ended on a complete cliffhanger and gone, hey, see you in 8 months.
Hey!
And I'm just like, for fuck's sake. It's
It
supposed
shows.
like, it was called the final season as well, and it's like, not technically now, but
Okay, before you go on to documentaries, I have a point about that as well. I was watching Riverdale when lockdown started, and they didn't get to finish filming the season, and they went into lockdown.
Oh.
So that ended on a cliffhanger completely by accident.
oh,
Because everyone had to go into lockdown and they couldn't finish filming, and everyone was like, why though?
why though?
So I completely understand. But anyway, carry on.
Yeah, but then documentaries. So a lot of the ones I've watched are like more like I've watched The Dirt, other ones like that. Like there was a Metallica one that I really I say I really like. It's a good insight into their lives and the process and everything. I think that was called Some Kind of Monster, and that like basically going about one of their albums where everything went to shit. But then more recently it's been like gaming related ones. So there's one called Raising Kratos, which is like a complete documentary around the making of the new God of War game. And that was really fascinating to see into all aspects of that. And then also Developing Hell, which is like a documentary mini-series thing about the game Hades and how that was made and everything like that. So I think those two are like in the back of my mind more recently with what I've watched. They were really cool. But they were both just on YouTube, so it's like I think that's where I get majority of my media from now. It's just easy, innit?
Yeah.
So for me, obviously, Sally's already said that I've watched two with her, which is Miss Americana and The Dirt. The only other TV one was like Through the Wormhole with Morgan Freeman. And you've probably all seen Morgan Freeman on Helium, but that's from that. It's about astronomy, time and space, things like that. Kobe's re-interested now. And there's a lovely segment on it on how time and space is like a loaf of bread, but I'm not going to go into it because that's boring and I'd get it wrong anyway. By that, there's a few YouTubers I watch that kind of do like darker kind of like mini documentaries about disappearances, weird things on the internet. I can't remember any of the names, but I think one of them's called like Night something.
Yeah, Jade watches a load of those. I just hear them on in the background all the time.
Yeah, so they're really cool because it's like what happened to these 5 lads that went to a random football game in America and then took a wrong turn and was never seen from again. We found the car, we found one dead body. What about the other 4? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So Kobe's really into that.
Yeah, he is.
It's like cars.
He's like, I know what happened to them. I'll tell you.
Yeah. So that's really my documentary's done.
Nice.
Well, what if you? We've gone through currently watching, haven't we? And recent documentaries. So what if we do like recent TV shows? We've got quite a few. I'm sure Kobe's got like one or two. I think he's been watching Doctor Who recently.
Oh yeah, like whenever there've been like loud noises outside or fireworks, I always put Doctor Who on for the cats because I don't really know why. Because when someone hacked my Netflix, they were watching Doctor Who, so it was on my recently watched. So like, I obviously didn't want to put something I was watching on for them,
Yeah.
but it was just there, so I would just put it on.
Makes sense as well. At least that way you don't have the issue of you go on Netflix and you're like, it's like continue watching. Wait, I've never watched that. What's it talking about?
Yeah. So I would just be like, oh well, I'm not gonna watch this anytime soon, so I'll just chuck that on for the cats. So they've got some like calming background noise that will drown out the fireworks a bit. So yeah, Kobe and Kiara have been watching some Doctor Who.
David Tennant's voice is quite
not that recently, Alan. Like
no,
fireworks haven't really been going off since like January.
That's recent.
I was about to say it's only February, and then I realised it's April.
It's April, mate. Say goodbye to the first quarter of the year.
It's all right, Jacob. I think we're all feeling a little bit like that at the moment, to be honest.
I'm just like, Christmas was yesterday, wasn't it?
Like, I feel like,
hey guys, it's Ollie's birthday last week.
Literally, I was just gonna say, I feel like it was Ollie's birthday yesterday, and like it's April.
That was a great day. I accidentally watched that musical that came out with the really weird dancing.
With like Fred Astaire or whatever his name was.
Yeah, and it's like what I'm trying to think of that song, and you were taking the mic like it's 2 a.m. How's the postman here?
Yeah. I can't remember what song.
No.
Anyway,
we'll figure it out in the break or something. But
in the break.
You guys don't get a break. We do. Not out of purposefulness, though. Words.
I was gonna say that, like, I know what you mean, but that didn't make sense at the same time.
Just like my life.
All same.
Anyway, guys.
Sorry, existential crisis right there.
We all have them. Like, we take it in turns.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not true. I have about 3 for every one that the guys have.
Keeps things interesting.
But yeah, between Kobe hogging Netflix, oh my god. Oh, it's just another visualizer. Demi popped up on YouTube, and I was like, what she posted, and just like, it's just a visualizer for a song. Anyway. But yeah, between Kobe hogging Netflix to watch cat videos, that didn't even make sense.
Doctor Who is a cat video. Dr. Mew.
It's because YouTube popped up and I was like, Kobe watches cat videos on YouTube. And then I was like, but I'm talking about Netflix. He's going to come over again.
He is,
he just goes in circuits. Like, he literally jumps up, walks along there and over the printer to come and sit on the desk, jumps down, and then within minutes, he jumps back up and he's like, I'm coming. And I'm like, why though? Why are you coming again? You don't want to be here. So anyway, I have recently watched Gotham. I think I only finished it like 2 days ago, 3 days ago.
It wasn't
something
long
like
ago.
That. That had been on my list for months.
No, it would have been about a week ago because I came over and said I've just finished Gotham.
You realize it's like
Yeah, but you didn't say it to me yesterday.
Did you not come over during the week?
I don't think so.
Time passes so quickly at the
Yeah.
moment.
Either way, sorry.
Stop interrupting me, Alan. It doesn't matter when I finished it.
Even Jacob's annoyed at me. Look at him, he's gone. He's like, they're arguing again.
You made that sound like we argue all the time.
We don't. We had this conversation the other day, like slightly off topic, but we never argue.
Yeah, legit.
So always coming.
There we go. He's on his way.
I'm back.
Welcome.
But yeah, so Gotham is. Oh my god! Right, come on then.
Gotham is Batman.
I like how it has taken like 5 minutes for you to say the word Gotham.
Yeah, so it had been on my list for like forever. I even bought the box set of it, right? When I didn't have Netflix briefly. Like back when like me and Taylor were still together. So that was a while ago. Like that was like what, 2 years ago now? 3 years? I don't even remember. But while me and him were together, I bought like, I think it was seasons 1 and 2. Because for like a brief time, my TV couldn't run Netflix. Couldn't run. Oh my god! Please.
Guys, look what I can do.
Couldn't run Netflix, so I bought like seasons 1 and 2 because I was convinced I was gonna watch it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I just never got round to it. But then eventually the other day, like I've just said, I was like, I'm trying to watch more things that I haven't watched yet. So I just decided to go with it. I was like, right, I'm going to watch Gotham. Oh my god.
Sorry, Jacob.
It's just the fact that I didn't register you'd done it at first, and then I looked over and you were just. I thought, oh, I've gotten away with that one.
No, I was looking at something, I saw it out corner. I'm like, I can't say anything, but I can like move it.
Just turns into a snake.
So yeah, I decided to watch it. I was like, this should be a chill thing to watch. I reckon I'll enjoy it. So that was the last thing I watched. And then before that, I watched The Umbrella Academy. So 2 shows in a row that I hadn't watched before. I was so proud of myself. Because, like, apparently it's quite, like, a common thing for people with, like, bipolar and other, like, mental illnesses and stuff to just continuously watch shows that they're comfortable with. Which I didn't know. I thought it was just, like, something that, like, everyone does. Just repeatedly watches the same shows like over and over again and never stops. But like,
I mean, I do that, but I do it more in the sense of like, I'll purposely skip half of the show and I'll just be like, well, I've seen it all now, but I really like this episode, and I'll just watch those just completely out of order.
I can't do that.
Yeah, no, the second like, especially if a new like season comes out, I watch it from start to finish again.
Oh no, I do that.
But like, I'll watch my favorite shows from beginning to end, and then I'll immediately go to another show that I've already seen and watch it from beginning to end, and then I'll go to another show that I've already seen and watch it from beginning to end, and then I'll go back to the first one again and watch it from beginning to end, even if it's got like 8 seasons. And I've already seen it like a month before.
I have a few shows that I will watch like at least once through entirely, like every year.
And apparently it's just like a comfort thing, and I'll watch the same show like 20 times in like a 6-month period and just never get bored. But I'm trying really hard to watch new shows now. And like, yeah, so I just recently watched Gotham and The Umbrella Academy. And me and Alan watched Sabrina together because I'd already seen parts 1 to 3, and part 4 came out, and he told me he'd never seen it, and I was like, right, I suppose I'll wait for you to watch it with me then, which was hard. It was very difficult for me
It was
because
so
I
good,
was
though.
like, I
I'm just having the
really
feeling of
just
deja vu because I've I feel like I don't know why I've heard the same thing like 10 times. I don't think it's actually been that many times, but I think it was just so many
No.
times in a short space of time because I think Alan told me and then you told me and then you told someone else while I was there.
Yeah, I just
Such
like
a
it
good
was
show.
so difficult for me to wait because I just wanted to like spam watch the whole thing, and then I was like, but I promised Alan I would watch it with him, so
For me, it was worth the wait.
yeah. And we watched Bonding as well because Alan hadn't seen that either, so we watched the whole thing in one night.
Like, it sounds impressive, but each episode was like 10, 15 minutes. And
20
there was like
minutes.
20 minutes, and there was
Yeah.
like, what, 10 of them? Something like that.
I don't know. I don't know how many.
It almost
No,
felt
but there was 2 seasons.
was it?
Because like the whole reason we watched it is because the new season had come out, which was
Mm.
why I watched it.
And we'd literally just finished Sabrina that night.
Yeah.
Like, we finished
Um,
like 2 episodes of Sabrina and gone, yeah, that was pretty good. That was really good. And then I was like, have you seen Bond? No, you already told me about it. And it's like, let's watch Bonding. Like, okay.
Yeah.
And then time went. That is also a great show. If you're into sex, I think everyone is.
That's all right.
Good thing Jade ain't behind you.
She wouldn't know what I was saying it about anyway.
True. But yeah, very good. Sorry, I took over from you again.
Well, that kind of covers what I was like. I haven't watched like 50 shows recently. Like I feel like recently, like there's a lot of seasons of Gotham. Like
Yeah.
I would have to be watching it 24/7 to consider like
Yeah.
more than 4 shows to be recent.
See, I did have a lot of shows recently that were like mostly anime, but it was because they all started airing at the same time. I started watching like 12 shows at once, and then by the time it got to like the 4th episode, I dropped it to like 3.
See, that had just confused the hell out of me because, like, I'll be watching like 2 shows, and let's say we were watching, I don't know, like Sabrina and Once Upon a Time at the same time. We'd be watching Once Upon a Time, like, wait, where's Lucifer gone? Like, what's happened? Like, oh, is this the part where Sabrina's auntie does this? It's like, no, that's a completely different show, Alan. Like, I wouldn't keep up.
See, I don't know, I'm used to it, but at the same time, what I did do that, I just ended up like after a few episodes of each, it completely ignoring them for like a month, and then when they'd completely finished, just binge them all.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I did watch. I say did watch, and I never actually finished it, which was Daredevil on Netflix. Because I watched the first 2 seasons, started watching season 3, and season 3 starts, and it's just completely like, oh, I hope you watched all of the other Marvel Netflix shows as well as the Defenders, otherwise you're not going to know what's going on. And I was like, right, I'll ignore the rest, I'll watch the Defenders. I got halfway through Defenders and I stopped.
Fair.
So I've still got like half a season of that, and then I can watch the last season of Daredevil. But the first 2 seasons were really good.
For me, recently, I was.
Why?
I'm sorry.
I was drinking that. Now it's all over my leg.
So I was on recent shows, and we've already spoke about Sabrina and Bonding. Gossip Girl, that's fairly recent for me. I know we stopped for a while since January.
Yeah, we did.
Quite far into that. I think we're nearish the end, like last couple of, if not last season, last 3 seasons. Whichever one's on top of your Xbox now is the one that we're on. And Witcher, which I want to watch again when season 2 comes out. And I'd like to watch it with Sally if she'd like to.
Oh, you've just reminded me of how
I
sad I
know.
am that season 2 isn't out.
Yeah. We've already talked about this, though, and I don't think you will.
I just don't really have any inclination to watch it. Like, everyone seems like obsessed with it, and like, I've. The thing is, like, I don't really know how to explain, but like it's just kind of the principle of it's just not really my thing in
Oh, that's
general. And I saw a post before as well, and it was like, oh, girls be all like, I watch it for its plot. And then the plot is like, and it was like 4 pictures of the main character with his top off or whatever. And I was like, ew.
No, that's fair. It's
He-
the same guy who
he's-
does Superman. I forgot his name.
Henry
He's-
Cavill.
Henry Cavill.
He's
that's it.
like literally just not attractive.
That's fair.
Um,
He
but
does the character a lot of justice, though.
Yeah, I think the thing is, if you like, the main thing is like so many people are obsessed with the game, and that's why so
Or
many people are
books.
obsessed with the show because it's a good
Right,
like,
so-
adaptation of the source material.
the thing is, though, I used to watch Bauer play the game, and I was never really inclined to play the game either.
Hmm.
Like
might-
from
you might
seeing
enjoy the
Bauer
book,
play it,
but-
like it just doesn't seem like my kind of thing.
Maybe he was just bad at the game.
I mean, I don't think
No.
so. Like,
But yeah, that's on. I'm definitely rewatching it as well because
I'm going to rewatch
it's-
it when season 2 comes out.
Yeah, it's definitely a theme that I like, and I like the show. I like how at the beginning of each episode there's like a little seal at the beginning that kind of indicates what's going to happen in the show, which took me like 4 episodes to realize.
I think I realized it in episode 3 probably.
Yeah. And then there's Toss a Coin to Your Witcher, the anthem of the year. But
Every band practice. That's probably another reason why Solly doesn't want to watch it because every band practice after that came out, we were just singing it.
yeah, it's good. Do enjoy. That's also actually with The Witcher. Strangely enough, that's also in my top current TV shows of like top shows that I really like. Segue.
Oh, was that a segue? Oh,
But yeah, so that's in my top shows, along with Sabrina. Obviously, not been long since I've seen Sabrina, but I really did enjoy it. You can't go. I don't really want to talk about them anymore because I already spoke about them loads. Breaking Bad, you can't really include a top list somehow of TV shows if you've seen Breaking Bad and enjoyed it without Breaking Bad. Like, sorry, Jacob, you look like you've not included it, but
no, it's my number 2.
I've seen it and not included it.
There you go. I enjoy Breaking Bad. Like, it's a very slow start though. I couldn't rewatch it from the beginning because of how long it takes to actually kick in.
Oh, see,
I feel
love the
like it
start.
ended really slowly. I feel like the ending was just shit.
I feel like we're all completely different on this because I feel like there's just a massive lull in the middle. Like when I first
I
watched
enjoyed
it,
the
I got
lull.
like halfway through season 2 or 3, one of the two, and like just completely like got bored and stopped watching it. And then eventually I got back around to watching it.
I feel like it literally went, it started slow and then it got good and then it got shit and then it got good and then it got shit and then it got good and then it ended shit.
See, the better
Like-
ending is the joke ending they made where he wakes up as Hal from Malcolm in the Middle, and it was all like a silly.
Yeah.
thing.
Like,
think-
sorry, do you wanna go?
No,
Or should
I was just
go?
gonna
that
say-
annoyed.
I'll go. Right. My main issue with it originally, anyway, was just the fact that I'm gone.
Just realised.
I know I said I
thought
wanted
you
to
were
go.
Just that annoyed. Like, how dare you?
Right. Yeah, like it annoyed me that because the whole of that it's going to slightly spoil it, but everyone who wants to watch it is going to have seen it at this point, and it's not
You'd
like the
hope
ending.
so.
It's just like so. The fact that when he went into remission from cancer,
Hmm.
and everyone's celebrating, he's like, "Yes, you know, you're all better," and then like 5 minutes later, he's like, "Should probably keep doing meth though."
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, the story's resolved itself. Why are you still doing this? And then after getting back into it and getting past that and a little bit further, I was like, oh yeah, it kind of makes more sense now. I'm enjoying it again. But just originally, I was just like, why?
Does this mean just because of that? Do I need to like include a spoiler warning at the beginning of this video and just like spoilers for the?
I would, yeah. I would
Right.
put like
Spoilers for like
Everyone-
season 2 of Breaking Bad.
We'll just send me a list, and I'll just include all the shows.
So yeah, for me, I just felt like oh my god, what was I gonna say? I've lost my point now, Jacob.
I'm sorry, I
Um,
should have waited.
I should have
Go.
gone. I should have gone first.
We always do
Oh
this.
no,
though.
I kind of remembered what I was gonna say. It wasn't that deep. I just feel like when I commit to a show, I commit to it usually. It takes quite a lot for me to like stop watching it. But to be fair, I had tried to watch Breaking Bad before. Like I'd seen part of it over Andy's shoulder when me and Andy were together.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like I keep saying people's names. It's not that deep though.
You've done
It
a few
doesn't.
times.
It doesn't matter. Like no one knows who they are. They're just ex-boyfriends, aren't they? But like I saw like some of it all over his show over his shoulder.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, like some of it I was like but then some of it I was like, that seems quite interesting. And then I definitely tried to watch it at some point and was like, this just seems shit. But then I went back to it and I was like, well, I went back to it after I watched Good Girls because I wanted something similar. So I watched it and I enjoyed parts of it, but then I finished it and I was just like, it took a lot for me to finish it.
Yeah.
Like so many times I nearly stopped watching it because I was like, I just feel like I'm watching it for the sake of watching it. Like it just feels so pointless. Like it felt like such a crap show, I'm not gonna lie. Like I felt like I only finished it for the sake of finishing it. So I kind of disagree with your point, like that anyone who's seen it would put it in the top 5 because
Okay. Anybody
like,
who liked it.
like I didn't even consider it. Like it did. Like when I was scrolling through my, oh, what have I seen? Like, what would I saw it and I was like, nah, that wouldn't even come close. I think different people have different categories of what is good and what I don't really know how to word what I'm trying to say, but I just found it really slow and boring. But different things grab different people's attention, I think.
Well, I've also got South Park. That's in my top TV shows. Still currently as well, because I was speaking about it last night and came to the realization that I could watch South Park at any time and still enjoy it.
Not meaning to interrupt you, but you like flashing.
Yeah, I was trying to sort it. Give me a sec.
You've stopped flashing.
Just nearly fell over my shoelace. Didn't realise I was stood on it and like nearly just went face first into my floor. Professional standards. But yeah, South Park. That's in like our top. Like, we were going through a few episodes last night whilst I was speaking to some friends in Discord.
What are you doing?
We just went through a ton of different episodes and different bits of it, how it's changed, like how the comedy's changed from like, the different character arcs they've gone through, and how there's some things that obviously they made fun of back then that really shouldn't stand. And obviously a few bits have been called out on, but how they've then adapted from that and still kept the kind of overall dark humor, but keeping it to a point where it's not really going against people in a sense.
Yeah, and keeping it relevant as well.
Yeah, keeping it, well, every show's made in a week, isn't it? So it's whatever is big that week they'll tend to do.
Yeah, it's just difficult when it goes on so long.
Yeah, it is. It's like Simpsons. That's no longer really. Like if you'd have asked me when I was in high school, favorite shows, Simpsons would have been up there.
Yeah,
because it was still pretty fresh then. I say pretty fresh. It was still from the 90s onwards, but like now The Simpsons just feels dead. Like I will every so often watch an episode, but the good episodes now are so few and far between. There's no point trying to keep up with it.
Yeah.
You could go back to the early seasons and like season 7 and stuff and have like pretty much every episode be amazing. And the last one is an anime, which is Neon Genesis Evangelion, or Evangelion, or however you pronounce it. I'm probably going to get shot in the comments if there are any comments. Wonderful. Again, from the 90s, one of the best shows that I've seen to deal with the idea of a unloving parent, the idea of loneliness and having to try to grow up on your own, anxiety, fears, things like that, but then put in a world where there's mechanical robots.
Yeah,
I
agree.
There's anymore. There's an episode where they're trying to redo Itchy and Scratchy and they introduce Poochie, and he says you want a down-to-earth show with balls off the wall robots, and that's pretty much it. It's down-to-earth at a lot of points, but still off the wall with the fighting and stuff. Just don't watch the last 2 episodes, watch the movies instead.
Oh no, watch the last 2 episodes, but immediately watch the movie to like
No, just skip them.
appreciate how you have to appreciate how bad they were.
Skip them. Yeah. That's me done for like my current top. This will probably change next year slightly, but currently that's it.
So I'll go next. That my issue is a lot of my ones where I'm like, oh, these would be like my top shows. I've only really got like 1 or 2 seasons and haven't properly gotten into their stride yet. So like Sex Education or The Boys, stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't really want to consider them my top shows because of that reason. They're still like.
I am tempted to watch The Boys.
It is very good. Like I didn't watch it originally because I didn't have Prime at the time when it first came out, but I ended up watching it. It's so good. Like if you like superhero stuff in general, it's very good.
Spoiled a few key points for me, so it's kind of put me off for a while.
It depends on what you've been spoiled because obviously there's 2 seasons.
I'd rather
now.
not say. But
yeah, no, that's fair.
Parts of both seasons.
Oh, okay, fair. So it was after season 2. Like I was gonna say, if you got spoiled in anything to do with season 1, it wouldn't be as much of an issue because then you just go back on season 2 and then everything's like fresh.
Yeah.
Does feel like they did a good job at wrapping up most of the points in season 1. But what? So I realized I went on then. Neither of those are actually in my top 5. I just wanted to mention that. So I've got Red Dwarf.
Oh.
Because that's just like my childhood. Like, I still haven't watched like the really new seasons. Because I keep putting them off because I'm like, it might ruin the entire thing for me.
No, it's still good.
It's still good because I watched season 10, but I haven't watched 11 and 12.
I wouldn't say as good, but still very watchable.
Yeah. No, but like the first 8 seasons are just like fantastic. Then I've got Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which I love. It took me a long time to get into it. Like everyone kept telling me to watch it, and I was just like, I don't know. And then it got to the point where I'd seen that many just one-off clips on Facebook where I was like, every single clip I've seen has just made me absolutely piss myself laughing.
Is that the one with Terry Crews?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely seen bits of it, and
there's just random clips all over Facebook all the time.
Yeah.
So I ended up watching it all, and it's so good. And now I found out it's ending.
Oh.
Again. So that's going to be sad, but at least there's going to be one more season. Then I've got Misfits. Like it's just a classic. Although I feel like if people aren't from the UK, they'll have no idea. Like, I feel like it's such an English show.
Watch not then.
But it's so good. I know. I'm pretty sure Sally's in it. Has Sally not watched Misfit?
No,
I thought she would have done.
I think you put it on your list the other day, though, didn't you?
No.
No.
I've never been inclined to watch Misfits.
That's the one where they've got powers, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of those in my head. For some reason, it just goes hand in hand with Skins.
I think they were big around the same time.
Yeah.
With everyone big.
I think Misfits came after Skins by quite a considerable length.
Yeah, it came after the. I think it probably was during like Gen 3 of Skins. But then I've put 2 for this one. I've put Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Yeah, they come kind of together. Don't
Yeah,
they?
like I really do like Better Call Saul to the point I'm kind of like I'm like it's almost as good as like Breaking Bad, but same points as Alan really for that. And then number 1 for me is In-Betweeners, just because I'll watch that show like 3 times a year. Every time I watch that show, I get to the end of it, I'm like I don't remember it being that short, because it's only like I think there's 6 episodes in a season. They're all 20 minutes, and there's only 3 seasons.
Well, it's the same idea as like Mr. Bean, like not the animated series, the live action. There's only 1 season of that.
Yeah, and in your head you're like, there's loads.
There's loads. Like, you can just think of so much that goes on.
Well, that's the thing, because like I feel like that's why it's so good. The In-Between is just because like there's so many different quotes and everything. You'll be like, oh, there's this moment and this moment and this moment, and then you watch the show and you're like, oh wait, all those moments are in the same episode.
Well, because
Just
of some of
it's
the same actors, I used to confuse it with Friday Night Dinner.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, because there's a couple of
there's 2 of the
couple of
main
same
guys
actors.
and the dad. I think
Yeah.
Mum is also in it. But like, there's at least 3 characters that are key characters in Betweeners that are the key characters in Friday Night Dinner.
Yeah, Will's in Friday Night Dinner, and I think the one who plays Simon was in it, but isn't a main character. And then one of the parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think the one who plays Simon is a main character in it. I think he's been in it, but I always get confused because the guy who plays Will is called Simon.
Yeah, well, they changed all the names about for the In-Betweeners.
Yeah,
they've all got each other's names basically.
Yeah, it's really confusing. But yeah, that's just like it's infinitely quotable. Like I feel like every day I will quote at least an In-Betweeners episode once, and that's how you know it just sticks with you. But yeah, Sally, what about you?
Well, obviously Skins went on mine. Like I started watching that like pretty much when it came out, and then obviously stuck with it like right up to the kind of right up to the 7th season. Like I didn't like the 7th season as much, but it's one of them things where you've kind of got to do it. Like
I still haven't finished the 7th season. I just couldn't. I wasn't enjoying it as much.
I didn't for a while. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like initially, I think I only watched Who Comes First. I think it's Effie. Why? Yeah. No, that's my drink.
Because it's Effie.
Floor again.
Is it Effie, Cassie, and Cook?
Oh my god! I nearly dropped him. Not that it would matter, he'd land on his feet, but
season 7, Effie, Simon, and Cook. Simon.
Simon.
Come back to In-Betweeners. Effie, Cassie, and Cook.
Yeah. That's another spoiler, Jacob.
Is it?
It's fine. I'm going to be putting a list.
Is it a spoiler?
Just think about the seasons that come before and what happens to the characters.
I guess. Yeah, I know. I agree with you with that. I just don't like. I feel like my issue is I haven't rewatched it from like season 1 all the way through. Like I'll just kind of go back and be like, I'll watch seasons 3 and 4, and then I'll leave it.
Yeah, because if they watch oh my god,
it's the circle.
Even with my headset on, I can hear him jump up, and I'm like, stop. Yeah, because if they watch the season that has Freddie in, and what happens at the end of that, when they get to the 7th season, they're going to be like, well, you've spoiled this for me, haven't you? Because look who's in it. But you've already told me. So,
my bad.
Anyway.
It's because I haven't actually watched them. I just know, I've just seen like the covers.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I watched the 7th season, but I had to go back to it because I saw Effie's and I was like, this is just ugh. But I enjoyed all of the original ones. Like everyone said that they didn't enjoy 5 and 6, and I actually quite like them. I think people just need to get needed to get used to the idea that each set was different characters. Like you had to judge them individually, not compare them.
Yeah.
Everyone
think-
compared them to 1 and 2, and you kind of couldn't do that, otherwise they were always going to be bad.
Yeah, I think it depends on what you like though, because like I feel like 5 would be difficult to watch for someone who really doesn't like rock music,
I guess
because it's so like frequent.
Yeah, and like it wasn't that as well. It was the comparison of that to the really, really like to like the really extreme kind of plastic like group of girls.
Yeah.
Obviously eventually they kind of resolved, because there's always a resolution in these things, but like that extreme comparison didn't really come up before.
Yeah.
In the other seasons they were always all kind of friends, whereas in those last seasons there was that kind of bullying going on and very distinct separations.
Yeah. It does very different themes, but I think it's
but I enjoyed Skins, and I think I'll always have that love in my heart for it, because I feel like it was very defining for me when I was younger. I find it harder to watch now. I feel like it definitely triggers memories in me of when I was a lot younger, but it's fine. It just has to stay on. What are you doing?
If I fits.
He doesn't fit. He's like half out. Like, I've just knocked down the box that I was balancing this on very precariously.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, that'll do. It's slightly tilted, but where is that bottle? Here? Bit awkward, but okay.
Oh, a cat.
definitely a cat.
So yeah, Skins is on mine mainly for
What are you
older
doing?
purposes, because I tried to watch it like
Down and she's leaning back. Sorry. Carry on.
Oh my god, what are you doing? Anyway, I tried to watch it last year, and I think my brain had just kind of had enough of it, so I don't know if I can really watch it anymore. But yeah, and then Gossip Girl is on there because I love Gossip Girl. I don't really seem like someone who would love Gossip Girl, but I feel like all girls love Gossip Girl, and some
Everyone.
guys too,
Everyone.
if they give it a chance. And then Vampire Diaries. I've always loved Vampire Diaries. I'm not sure if I'll continue to keep watching it now. I finally got to the end of it. And now that I've done that, I'm not sure I'll ever watch it again. But it was one of my comfort shows that I would keep going back to and back to and back to. But I never quite made it to the end before. But yeah, that is one of the shows I would watch on repeat. So I don't know what was so lovely about it, because I feel like it's actually a bit boring. But at the same time, it's got a bit of everything, and I really like the way it portrays, like, I don't really know how to describe it, I'm not gonna lie. Like, the way they set up... My cat is really annoying me. The way they set up, like, how vampires came about, and like witch covens and stuff like that. But yeah, my brain is not working today. Good Girls is on my list. Good Girls is a great show. If you haven't seen that, you should watch it. I don't care who you are and what you're into, you should watch Good Girls. Very funny. It's like almost the female version of Breaking Bad, but better. And it's basically about like middle-aged women who get themselves like in over their head with like just everything essentially, and it's literally hilarious. So yeah, you should watch that because it's amazing, and I only watched it recently, but I think that's one of my favorite shows. I told you didn't fit there. Now you're trying to balance on a tape dispenser. And then my other one is Reign, which is basically about Mary Queen of Scots and like while she's living at French court and stuff. And it's just a sick TV show. Like I started watching that, I'm gonna like vaguely guess at last year. And then I watched it again in the same year. So like I'm really into like historical stuff. And I'm not sure if it's entirely historically accurate, but it's really good. And like it's very salacious and it's just a very good show. And it's kind of led me to watching other similar shows as well, like Medici and stuff like that. So it's pretty good. And now Alan wants to watch it as well. So
yeah, I saw like 2.5 episodes and I'm like, I need to watch this.
yeah, so I'm going to end up watching it again probably this year. So I feel like that's going to be on repeat now, which is fine by me. But yeah, I really like that. And what did I just watch? Yeah, interestingly, wait, was it this? It wasn't even this. That's awkward because I've just started a sentence that doesn't even fit.
Interestingly.
Well, I was going to say the actress who's in it is in Gotham, but it wasn't her. It's the girl from Teen Wolf. But it doesn't matter, I guess. The actress from it is in something else, but I can't remember what it is. So it might have been Medici or it might have been something else entirely. Oh, it's the guy from Medici. No, it's not. He's in something else. Oh my
It's
god.
going well.
Oh no, it is the guy. It is the guy from Medici who's in Reign. Is it? Wait, oh my god, help.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you because I don't know who you're on about.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So the guy who plays Francis is in Medici, which just makes a point that he's very like
Typecast.
Yeah, he's like, I only really act in period dramas, kind of. Like, as soon as I saw him, I was like, you're very fit for one kind of role, aren't you?
Yeah, I was just Googling it for you then to confirm it so that you wouldn't have to keep spiraling.
No, I did realize, but then I was like, "Am I even talking about the right shows anymore?"
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's right. I was confirming it for you.
Like, am I meant to be talking about Reign? Like, what happened? And then I'm like, yes, Sally, you were talking about Reign, but you've gotten yourself confused because you started talking about Teen Wolf, and then you were talking about Medici. But are you meant to be talking about Medici? Or are you meant to be talking about Reign? And I was like, wait, Medici and Reign, that's fine. Ignore Teen Wolf.
Yeah, like when you said the guy's name, I was like, oh no, she's clocked it. It's fine.
Yeah.
She's on track.
I got myself confused because I mentioned 3 shows and I was like, which ones am I meant to be mentioning? Like, I've lost track now. There are too many on the table. This is
Sorry.
what happens when I wake up late and take my meds late and then try to do a podcast. Like,
It's right. We got there. The guy from Rain is also in Medici.
The guy from Medici is also in Rain.
That is also how that works.
And it falls mainly on the plane. So I'm going to throw in quickly Futurama as like an honourable mention as like top shows. It's not recent enough for me to include it, but it's very good.
fair enough. I feel like that was like I don't watch this anymore, but it needs an honourable mention.
It does, yeah. Like I've not watched it in ages, but it's amazing, and I would watch it again like many, many times.
I see.
Oh, and the mention I forgot as well. Just Game of Thrones would have been up there, but it went shit. There you go. Carry on.
I see. Yeah, I feel like that's one of the ones that like it was amazing and it was one of my favorite shows ever, and then
He shut the bed so hard.
and then the whole world stopped watching it and would never watch it again because they fucked up so bad.
Yep.
Like it was like one of those monumental things like Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, and then it fucked up so bad that no one talks about it anymore.
Apart from to say, oh yeah, that used to be good.
Yeah. Anyway, words. Yeah, so one of the other things that I think is really interesting is like there's always like, well, for me in particular anyway, there's always like at least one show that you've been meaning to watch like forever and just not got round to. And like for me, this is why I've kind of made this segue. For me, mine is The Originals, which is like a spin-off from The Vampire Diaries, which obviously is one of my comfort shows. So like I should have really watched it. Like it should have been a natural progression. Like at any time I've watched The Vampire Diaries, I should have been like, oh, I'll go watch The Originals. And like I find The Originals in The Vampire Diaries really interesting. Like whenever it comes to the part that they're in, I'm like, oh yes, like the originals are here, they've woken up, like let's vibe. But then they have their own show and I've still not watched it, and it's just sitting there on my list, and I'm like, why though? And like even the last few times when I've been like, oh, I need to watch something that I've not watched before, I hover over it and I'm like, nah. So like what's that, like one show or more than one show that like you've always kind of meant to watch but you've just never quite got round to, or you just can't quite bring yourself to yet?
I've got a couple. The first one, which is probably the biggest one, is Stranger Things, because everyone tells me to watch it, and it's been sat on my Netflix to watch list for like 5 years. That's so much stupid. Like it's just constantly, and it's the same as like what you said. Every time I go to watch something new, I hover over it, and I was, nah, maybe next time. And the other one is Snowpiercer, which is like a lot more recent, and I really like the world and everything. And I was gonna watch it, and I was like, no, I'll wait till it's all out and I'll binge it, and it just hasn't got to that point yet. So eventually I will. I think that one will definitely come before Stranger Things. But I don't know. At this point, I might never get around to watching Stranger Things, or you never know.
Who knows?
One day, maybe.
Probably not.
Probably not. I just like to tell people that I'll watch it to keep them happy when they go, "Have you watched Stranger Things? Why have you not watched Stranger Things?" But yeah, that's it for me. Go on, Alan.
Have you done all yours, Sally? Is it with the originals?
Yeah, well, there are definitely more, but I think because I'm starting to make my way through mine, like a lot of mine have started to go, because like for me, I didn't even say this. Like The Umbrella Academy was one of mine. And I ended up watching that. And obviously Gotham was one of mine, and I've watched that now. And I had Rain on there for the longest time, and I ended up watching that. So like I'm slowly making my way through mine. I feel like the originals is just one of those things that I can't bring myself to watch it. I'll like scroll and scroll and scroll through my list after hovering over it, and I'll just be like anything but that. Like, I will pick any other show that's on there. The other night, I even picked a film instead of it.
Damn.
Even though I don't really watch films by myself. I was like, nah, not the originals. I'll watch something else. Like, I'll watch this film I've been meaning to watch instead, because I don't want to watch the originals. And then like the day after, I was like, nah, I'll watch Dynasty again. Like I can't bring myself to watch it, and I don't know why. Eventually I'll get there.
Maybe you're worried, like, because obviously you really like Vampire Diaries and you don't want the universe
maybe
to be
I'm worried
ruined.
it'll be a letdown.
Because obviously you read the books as well, don't you?
Well, I've read them.
You've read them. You've definitely
and then
got
I
them.
donated them. We donated them.
Oh yeah, yeah, we did.
They weren't the same. They weren't the same, and they were a bit shit. But
Yeah.
I feel like they were shit because of how much I enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
And the books were completely different. And normally I read the books of something first.
Yeah.
And then the show doesn't add up. But because I saw the show first.
Yeah.
And the books were different and had different characters, I couldn't make them add up.
Yeah.
So I got rid of the books, and I never get rid of books. Like
that's not even all. You've still got a box with something, haven't you?
That won't fit on.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. But yeah, like there are definitely others, but Originals was the one that came to mind as like the big one that I just can't get round to.
Yeah.
Like I've got a whole list on Netflix, obviously everyone does, but Originals is the one that I was like, yeah, that's the one. Like, you're being very rude.
I'm going to start mine off with Stranger Things, like Jacob said. It's one of those, I should watch it. I guarantee I'll enjoy it, but I have either not found the time or like effort to sit down and watch it. I've seen a few bits. Like everyone's seen the little KFC thing on Facebook, I'm guessing, where it's just obvious product placement. And I
don't think I've seen that actually, because
No.
you said KFC thing, and I'm just like, what?
They sat around a table eating KFC, and one of them says, "Yeah, it's finger licking good." It's like
Oh no, I haven't.
It's a purposefully awkward scene kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I've seen like a little bit of something where they go into like a warehouse or something like that. But it looks cool. It got very overhyped for a while. I don't know what overhyped is. It was very hyped for a while.
Yeah.
I should watch it. Game of Thrones. I've still not watched. I never got into it. It was kind of a thing like Sally is, where everyone loves it that much that you just don't watch it for that reason. Like, so I've seen a few bits. Like I've seen the Red Wedding. I've seen towards the end where like, is it the mountain fights the hill or something like that?
yes, it is now.
I got one of the names right, and I've seen King Joffrey's death. things like
Oh,
that.
now I need to put that in the description.
Yeah, no, I've already said that I'm putting everything that we've talked about in the thing.
Oh, okay, I thought we were only putting
then
like
I'm like a
the things we'd
little-
actually spoil.
no, I'm just going to put the lot in because I'm not going to go through and listen and go, right, that's a spoiler, because then I'd have to know what the spoilers were for every show.
Oh,
and I
so
don't
far we've
know.
only spoiled Breaking Bad, Skins, and now Game of Thrones.
Okay. Well, they're still all going in anyway, unless it's
Okay.
something like American Dad or like just that kind of TV show that doesn't really have an overarching plot. One is one that we saw. One is one that we saw on Netflix the other day. Like, you know, when it just plays an advert, like you load it up and it just shows you something no one's seen before. It looks amazing.
I feel like saying that you've been meaning to watch that
have,
and
though.
not got round to it
Right, okay,
is a bit of
it's gone.
a bit of a stretch though, because like
Gone.
we only saw it the other day,
Of the week.
like because we said we were going to watch it together,
Yeah.
and
So right, that's going off the list then. Okay.
we
goodbye, one.
already like we're
That's
already
cool, though.
watching stuff,
Yeah.
like so we'll get round to it once we've watched the other stuff, like.
And the last one, this one can be included, but we're going to watch it together at some point. It's The Lion King 2, which I know is a movie, but like I've seen the first one. I've seen the mini Timon and Pumbaa shorts, but I've not seen Lion King 2 or 3. But Lion King 2 is like one of, I believe, one of your top films, ain't it, Sally?
Lion King 2.
Yeah.
You said 3.
No, I said I've not seen 2 and 3, but 2 is the one that I want to watch.
Yeah, you said 2 and 3, and then you said, but Lion King 3 is one of your favorite films.
Did I?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Lion King
Can
2.
confirm.
Lion King 2 is one of your favourite films, if I'm right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
Ow.
that sounded painful. Which takes us on to our next section.
Oh shit! Is that a segue?
That's a segue into Sally's favourite films.
Way to put the pressure on. Now.
Okay, well, we'll talk about because like I really struggled with this. We had a chat before we actually called, and we were like, well, no, we obviously didn't. We called and then we had a chat and then we started filming. We
Yeah.
didn't just psychically have a chat.
Oh, that'd be cool though.
It would.
But we had a quick chat and we were like, let's do favorite films. And then I immediately blanked and was like, favorite films.
What
What?
are they?
Because I really struggled, and then I went on Netflix and Netflix didn't help at all. It showed me like one that I've watched a lot, and I was like, well, I guess I can include that, but I don't feel like it's my favorite film. And all of my DVDs are away in a box that's under a guitar and multiple hoodies, and I was like, well, I'm not sure I can be asked with that. And then I eventually thought of like my all-time favorite movie, and we decided we were gonna like separate that. We were like, yeah, let's talk about our all-time favorite movie, because I feel like you can kind of say a lot about your all-time favorite movie. Like I can anyway.
Yeah.
And then eventually I thought about my movie box and I was like, yo, I know what some of my favorite movies are. Why have I just been an idiot? So yeah, I'll talk about some of my generic favorite movies and you guys can do the same, and then we'll hit up
The top.
our like favorite movies, like that one that just has ruled your life.
Also, we're ramping up to it. Then save that one.
Save that for
Mhm.
last.
Okay.
So my like kind of current like generic favorite movies, obviously Lion King 2, but also just like Disney films in general, like the original ones, not the remakes. Like the remakes are cool, I watch them, but they don't compare, let's be real. Love a bit of Aristocats, so does
Yes.
Kobe, because you know everybody wants to be a
Speak
cat.
of the devil.
And ladies don't start fights, but they can finish them.
Name that film. Just said it. There's a quiz.
I have a hoodie with that on. It's one of my favorite hoodies. I never really wear it, but I bought it specifically because of that. Because I'm a pushover and an easy sale. But yeah, love the How to Train Your Dragon films. They're amazing. Oh my God, I just thought of another one. The Land Before Time. Best film ever. Oh my God. Still not my all-time favorite film, but it's pretty close. That's a great film. There's a dragon behind my curtain.
As soon as you mention Aristocats, just
I actually
Kobe
meant a
jumps up.
dinosaur. It's
Yes.
dinosaurs in Land Before Time.
there
Why
is.
did I say dragon? Anyway, but that's a great film. Oh my God. So I went to stay at my mum's to look after her dogs like a couple years ago, and she had like this channel that was just called Disney Films, and
Nice.
like
Chill.
it literally just played like all the animated Disney films. And like I didn't think that Land Before Time was a Disney film unless it was on another channel, and I just like inadvertently found it at a separate time. But anyway, I just watched animated films the whole time I was there. And Ollie came round, or he must have still lived there actually, because it was a couple years ago. And he came down and made a sandwich. And like I came around the corner and caught him singing along to Moana. And it was like the funniest thing. I filmed it on Snapchat. I don't know if I've still got it, but I might upload it to Twitter. But yeah. And then some of my others are The Neverending Story. Great film. Like I could watch that on repeat. When I was young, I used to rent that from the video shop every week. Like I used to rent that and Pokemon 2000 every single week. I was allowed to rent 3 films, 3 videos every week. And every single week I got Pokemon 2000, The Neverending Story, and one other film. Like my mum can confirm this. Like every single week I rented the same 2 films and then one other film. Like I was obsessed. And then the other films I've put are the Conjuring universe, because just all of those films are sick. And then Hereditary, which like I wouldn't necessarily say like it's one of my favorite films, but I kind of just wanted to include it because like it came out quite recently, obviously. Like I'm saying quite recently, I'm talking about recently in terms of when we were allowed out of the house.
Yeah.
And like I went to see it in the cinema, and it's one of the only kind of scary movies recently that actually made me jump. They never actually catch me by surprise, because like obviously I took media studies and learnt to look out for all the tricks and stuff. And I always know where jump scares are coming from. I know what to listen for. I know what to look for. And like these kind of things never make me jump. They never take me by surprise. I can always predict.
Like the text.
I can always predict the end of like horror movies or psychological thrillers, and I couldn't predict the end of Hereditary, and I was like, that was a good movie. Like I genuinely really enjoyed it. So yeah, I included that for that reason, because I felt like it was genuinely just an actually good movie to come out of the recent years, which I find quite rare in terms of plot in the recent years. But yeah, I will leave it there for now so that you guys actually get a chance to speak.
Well, I've got a few. As Jacob's busy at the minute, I'll go next.
I was going to say let Alan go first. I feel like you keep going last, so
Yeah. So we'll start off by saying that a lot of my favorite films tend to mainly be around the music and the soundtracks. Tends to be what hooks me the most. Quite a few don't though. Donnie Darko is the first one. I loved it as a kid. Not as into it as some people who get like the rabbit tattooed on them and stuff like that. I wouldn't go that far personally, but I really enjoyed the film and I could happily watch it over and over again. Butterfly Effect. A few people are going to probably say that I'm wrong when I say it's a good film, but it's a good film. I've not seen the second one. Apparently, he uses it for like good rather than to like go back into his own past and shit. But who knows? Really enjoyed that. Like the idea of being able to go back with a thought and change how something happened. Like, who knows? Scooby-Doo, Zombie Island. Great film. Great songs. Like,
Agreed.
one of the very few tapes, one of the two like VHS tapes that I like wore out. The other one being my all-time favorite movie, so that couldn't wait. I just watched that loads, and I think it's one of the best up there, like Scooby-Doo films. The best out of the lot, obviously. Like closely followed by the Hex Girls, or Witch's Curse, whatever it's called. A Scanner Darkly, one of Keanu Reeves' probably least known films. It's like a cel-shaded, no words.
Yeah, I know which one that is. Yeah,
like the effect of like taking different drugs and stuff, and it's like it's really well done because of the cell shading. It's like obviously they're all acting, and then they'll put like bug crawling up the rhymes and stuff like that. There's a part where he's in a diner, and a little thought bubble pops out, and the diner lady starts stripping in his thought bubble, and then he actually like gives an order. A few trilogies quickly. Matrix. Like, first one's the best. Half the second one's good. About 10 minutes of the third one's good. I love the first Matrix. Which pill would you take? Back to the Future. A great trilogy the whole way through. Like,
yep.
Would love a time machine. Would love it to be a car. And a DeLorean is a car that I've wanted to own for a long time just because of Back to the Future. Who knows if I will? It wouldn't be my main car. It'd just be there to show off. John Wick. That's not really a trilogy. It's still a trilogy, isn't it? It's not going to be for long.
Yeah, there's a fourth one coming out this year.
John Wick.
I definitely need to add more to my list because you've already said 2 out of the 3 of mine.
We're not done yet because there's going to be another one in there.
Oh, right, yeah. I need to...
We'll go with Jacob's other one, which is Scott Pilgrim.
Yep.
I love it. I used to mainly play bass through kind of high school and college. So I wanted to be Scott Pilgrim, basically. Well, minus the Evil Exes thing, I guess. Just mainly the playing in a band kind of deal. Which he only really does at the beginning. So maybe I wanted to be... what was it? Young Neil?
Yeah, Young Neil.
Maybe I actually wanted to be Young Neil. Probably did. Mulan is like the only Disney film on there, but it is my favorite Disney film of all time, mainly for the song "I'll Make a Man Out of You" and Mushu. Banger. Mushu's amazing, and I did it in a real weird order. But there's only one left, which is Labyrinth, not Pan's Labyrinth, the Labyrinth with David Bowie and his huge, like, great acting career. Yeah, there was a lot there. So I thought I'd go through them rather concisely. But if you would like a full 50-page report on each of them.
Before Jacob attempts to go through his tiny list.
It's not a list anymore, it's one thing. I'm gonna improvise, it's fine.
I actually agree with you. I love the Butterfly Effect. I really love psychological thrillers in general, though. I think they're very interesting. It doesn't really matter whether like you agree with their choices because that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Like it's meant to be very
thought-provoking.
Morally
ambiguous?
Yeah, morally ambiguous. which is like one of the reasons I love them. And then, oh my god, there was something else I was gonna say. What else did you say?
There's Donnie Darko, Scanner Darkly, Scooby-Doo, Matrix, Back to the Future, Mulan, John Wick, Scott Pilgrim, Labyrinth.
That didn't really help.
Oh.
There was something else I was gonna say. I can't remember what it was.
I mean, if you want, I can go to mine.
Yeah,
and
you might
just
as well
interrupt
just,
me if you need
you
to.
might as well just go at this point.
Yeah, that's right. Just interrupt me if you need to, because I'm going to fully improvise until Alan stole my entire list.
Great film choice.
Off the cuff, let's go. Right, so great
Include
films.
the ones that I stole off you first, so then they know.
Oh, right. So Scott Pilgrim, the John Wick trilogy. I think especially if you watch them all back to back. Like, I think individually they're great, but if you watch them all back to back, they're even better. And then anything by Edgar Wright. So Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead,
Yeah.
Baby Driver, all fantastic. World's End, all right, not bad, but Hot Fuzz especially, and Baby Driver and Scott Pilgrim, all incredible. Lord of the Rings trilogy, it's just great, but at the same time, you have to watch the extended ones. So I feel like you can only ever watch Lord of the Rings if you've got like a long weekend free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, very good. A lot of comic book films, so like Deadpool, Avengers: Infinity War was very good. I also enjoyed Endgame, but I feel like Infinity War was just a better film. Like, I feel like Endgame's a better superhero, no, like a better like Avengers film, but Infinity War is just like a better film in general. Batman: The Dark Knight, another one that's really good. I love that. My mind has started to go blank now.
Is Dark Knight the one with the hospital scene, or is that Dark Knight?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, with the yeah. I was gonna say it, and I was like, no, we've spoiled enough. I'm gonna stop.
As I thought on yours, obviously I didn't include any like Marvel or comic book ones. I should have I shouldn't have because I just stole more from you.
Yeah. Oh, they weren't on my list originally, so that's fine.
But, like, you have to stop somewhere. And also on your thought of including a director as well is anything by Guy Ritchie. Things like Rock and Roller, Snatch, things like that.
Yeah, it's a good shout.
Yeah.
So
Snatch was a really good shot. Go on.
I remembered my original thought,
Okay.
which was based on what Alan said around soundtracks.
Yeah.
Birds of Prey was a really good film, and the soundtrack was badass. Like, after that came out, all I listened to for like 2 weeks was the soundtrack to Birds of Prey. And I loved that film. It was so good to like actually just have like a female DC film. I love DC movies. Like, I enjoy the Marvel ones too, but I'm a DC girl, so you know. But Joker as well. Joker was an amazing film.
I still haven't watched it.
That should have gone on my list of like, I want to watch this. Like, I still not seen it, and I really want to. So.
Yeah, I want to watch it. I just haven't got around to it yet.
I went to see it like 3 or 4 times because of how good it was. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot this. The Greatest Showman. That was so good. I went to see it in the cinema like 5 or 6 times. It was like so emo. Like, I cried like the first 3 times I saw it. I was like,
I remember my mum had that. My mum was I think it came on TV once and she recorded it and she watched it constantly. And I was like, right, you know what? I'll buy her the DVD. Worst mistake I ever made because she watched it even more.
yeah.
And it was. I'd walk through and it'd be like a certain scene, and then I'd walk through 2 hours later and it'd be the same scene again. I'm like, hasn't this just happened? Oh no, I'm watching it again.
I went to see it with Taylor, And then I took my mum, and then I went with Taylor again, and I just kept going. I was like, this is such a good movie. And then the other one, which is on my list, but I just skipped it, is 5 Feet Apart, which is on Netflix. But I saw it in the cinema when it came out, and oh my God, I cried. I cried so much. It's such an emotional film. And then I watched it again with Connor, who used to be in the band, for anyone who does not know. And during lockdown, number one, me and Connor watched loads of films together on Netflix Party. I think that's what it was called, or is called. I don't know if it's still a thing. But I assume everyone knows what it is, but you can basically like link up your computers to watch shows together. So we watched it then, and I totally cried again. I was like, I am so emo. Like, this film is so sad. And being in lockdown, it felt like so poignant as well, because like the whole point of the film is that the people who are like in a relationship can't touch each other because they're sick. And it's like, I don't know if we've watched it.
No.
Have we watched it yet? Because it's on our list as well. But yeah, and I've watched it with my mum as well. So I've seen it 3 times, and my mum cried as well. So yeah, 5 Feet Apart is definitely one of my kind of on repeat films that I will just watch over and over again. And that only came out a couple years ago, and it's got one of the Sprouse twins in. I think it's
both, and they chop and change.
No, one of them doesn't act anymore. And
yeah, I think it's Cole who does act.
Yeah,
Okay.
and he's in
Dylan
Riverdale. He's in Riverdale, and he's in this as well. And yeah, it's so emo, and I love it. It's such a good film. But yeah, that's definitely like one of my on repeat films. It's the first one I wrote down, and then I was struggling to think of any more. Like, I wrote that down straight away, and then I was like, what other films do I watch all the time? And then when I came to like actually be like, oh yeah, these are the ones I watch, I skipped it. Like, okay,
Well,
sorry.
I remembered a couple more like while you were saying stuff. So like segueing from yours, even though you've said stuff completely different in the meantime. So when you talked about Birds of Prey, I was like, oh, another good like comic book film with a really good soundtrack, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
That's another one that was great. And then you mentioned Greatest Showman, and I was like, another Hugh Jackman film as well, Logan.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God, that one
That's
was
got
amazing.
Natalie Portman in as a kid, doesn't it? Is it Natalie Portman? No. I'm thinking something completely different. Like, I'm thinking of I can't remember what it's called now. It's just the one name, but no, Logan's the Wolverine one.
Yeah.
I
really want to know what you thought it was.
Leon.
Oh, right. Yeah. I know what you mean now.
You can see the confusion. It's pretty much the same name.
it's just the way I say Logan, me and it's like, oh yeah, that was great. And I was like, yeah, Natalie Portman, innit?
Yeah.
There are literally so many good films. Like, I like how we were all like, can't think of any, and now we're like, oh my God,
there's too many.
I improvised all of mine. The only one that I actually said that was on my list was Hot Fuzz.
Yeah. So we're now on to the creme de la creme, the top film of all time for everybody here, and probably the 3 greatest films anybody could ever see, as long as we've not like got the same film. Like,
at that point, we haven't pre-discussed this, so
it could be
I don't
the
think
one
we
film.
will. I don't think we will.
Okay, who wants to talk about their choice first?
Who was the last one to go?
Jacob
Me.
was.
Let's go in backwards order then.
Okay.
So I'm going first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So the undisputed greatest film of all time is Men in Black.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, I'd put it up there as a great film, personally, but I would say there are better.
That they're just
Well,
and
let him have
someone
it.
says-
No, I'm going
Everyone-
to let you have it. I'm going to let you have it. I'm just saying that we've not all got one film.
yeah, it's the one that comes straight to my head. Like as soon as someone says, "What's your favorite film?" Boom, instantly, like no hesitation. It's got my favorite actors. It's like I just feel like every part of the film is just great. Like it, like the comedy is great, the action's great, everything about it is just
Great.
mwah. And then Will Smith is just mwah.
Will Smith.
Fair enough.
That's a point. I do have an undying love for Will Smith, so that probably does make it slightly biased towards a Will Smith film being my favorite. But
Is there anything you'd like to say in particular about the film itself?
I don't think anything needs to be said. It's just
It's just that's it. It just mwah.
yeah.
Okay. Right. I guess I'll start with mine then. So this one's a Gene Wilder film, and it's the greatest musical of all time. Well, the greatest musical film of all time, I should say, because obviously, if you're going to compare it to Cats, anything is. It's the original, not the remake with Jack
Ew.
Sparrow.
I love that.
Not the remake, but the original Willy Wonka, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Every time I see the Warner Brothers logo made out and then it goes into making chocolate, I lose my shit. That is the best way to start the film. It's got the best songs, even better than Oliver Twist. And it's got a few adult jokes for those that have read the books, these more adult orientated books, such as when they're licking the walls, like the different flavored walls, and it's like the raspberries taste like raspberries, the snarlsberries taste like snarlsberries. Snarlsberry, what the hell's a snarlsberry? It's actually male genitalia. So
I didn't actually know that. That's great.
It's from one of his adult books. It goes into it. Like the little whistle he's got, the little Oompa Loompa songs, like Pure Imagination as a song itself is amazing. The way that Charlie Bucket skips through the town and he's got his mum's got his own little song like "Cheer Up, Charlie." Like it's got the song "Candyman Can." Everybody knows that song. That's where it's from. If you didn't know, it's got a little twist at the end as well, which I'm going to spoil now. Where Wernstrom, the guy that comes up to everyone and Charlie Bucket, going, "If you can get me this never-ending gobstopper formula, I will give you and your family something like £1,000 or something," which was a lot of money back then. I mean, it's still quite a decent amount now, but not enough to live off forever, kind of thing. Turns out he works for Willy Wonka. You've got the guy faking disability that then jumps out of bed at the idea of going to a chocolate factory. It's wonderful.
I do love that.
It's wonderful. That's a great scene as well, just where they're singing and dancing along. Like that's like me as an old man, not faking disability, jumping and dancing around. Like it's so good.
It does put a bit of a bad twist on this film when you think that after all that, he's not getting his benefits anymore.
No, you don't need it, mate. He lives in a chocolate factory. What more do you want in life?
Money.
You got little workers doing everything. You're gonna
I
make.
don't think you can pay your bills in chocolate.
No, but you can pay from selling the chocolate, and then
You're gonna have to get good at marketing there.
and then like the way that Gene Wilder was like, I don't want anybody to trust Willy Wonka, and like the thing where he comes out with a little cane and like walking slowly, nobody knew he was going to do that, and then he does a little roll, and it's like, look at me, I'm Willy Wonka. Oh, it's so. I'm going to watch it later. I've just like drawn myself into watching it again. It's such a good film. Like Jacob with the name your favorite film. That is the only film that pops into my head.
So, just like I will genuinely say that was a really good choice of film. Like I love that film. Like there's some films like that, and like Oliver Twist that you mentioned that are just excellent films, kind of like the Beethoven films.
Yeah, like
Just
they be
cool
old, but
film.
they've not aged. Like obviously
Yeah.
the quality of them has, like in how they look and how they sound, but the actual film, and obviously it's based off a great book, so
just quality films.
yeah.
The only thing I will say is that song, Pure Imagination.
Mhm.
There's a scene in Glee
Yeah.
where that song is used for the funeral of a woman with Down syndrome who dies.
Oh, okay.
And it's her favorite song. And now whenever I hear it, I cry.
Oh no.
Because that's what it makes me think of. That's what I associate it with now.
Oh, no.
So like anytime I hear it, I like sob. Like whenever I think of that song, I'm like,
I'm the complete opposite though, because obviously I've not seen that, and all I can think of is going 3 steps down the stairs, going 4 back up, and dancing with Willy Wonka as I go into the chocolate factory, and then he stops everyone, and it's boom, away you go.
yeah, no. So in Glee, it's the sister of like this really mean teacher, and her sister has Down syndrome, and like obviously that means she's a lot younger mentally.
Yeah.
And that's her favorite song. So when she passes away, they make her funeral Willy Wonka themed, and they sing that song at a funeral, and I like break my heart every time I watch that scene. And now I really just associate that song with that scene. So like it makes me cry, and I'm like,
I've actually got one more thing about the film, which is the boat ride and how cool that is. And then it's like,
yeah,
they're going down, see all this scary crap and stuff, and then Charlie sees Wernstrom. He's like, Wernstrom, and yeah, and obviously all the kids that pretty much die.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's okay. I'm not really.
How to Get Away with Murder featuring Willy Wonka.
See, now look what you've done. My therapy cat is upset. Yeah, so I feel like you've just like gone for like a really like solid childhood memory that's like stuck with you.
Yes,
like,
forever.
And Jacob just kind of went, first film that comes to my head.
No, that's like, it's still my childhood.
Fair enough. I feel like everyone's really different in like their favorite movie. Like,
yeah,
it's a very different situation. It's different, like how it affected them and where it came from, and like just very like different reasons for why it's their favorite. That's my drink. No. Oh my god, I'm sorry.
No.
I'm so sorry.
He's fallen into the chocolate river.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That was my fault. Please forgive me.
Increase the pressure in the tubes.
Are you okay? Oh no.
I'm just wondering when Alan's going to stop making Willy Wonka references.
Never.
Oh,
Wait till Tuesday's band practice.
Oh, look how upset he is. Oh my god. I'm so sorry.
While she's dealing with the cat, another great thing about like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is everything in the factory is edible.
You also need to stop calling it by the wrong name.
Willy Wonka.
Well, one of them's Willy Wonka and one of them's Charlie.
I never know
the
which
originals. The originals Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and then the one with Johnny Depp's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Or as I called him, Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, when you said that, I was like, Pirates of the Caribbean.
There's a remake.
I don't remember that being a music, like having music in it.
No, it had music in it. Just it wasn't a musical.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
They sing a sea shanty.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that makes it a musical.
I mean, also, I'm pretty sure Gene Wilder's not in Pirates of the Caribbean. These were all the questions running through my head when he said Jack Sparrow earlier.
Yeah.
And then I went, oh, it probably just means Johnny Depp.
Yeah, the name just like me and Simon were talking about actors earlier, and like there was someone like, oh, there's this one that does this. It's like, well, that doesn't really count because you can't name the name. And like,
Yeah, because Alan was like, oh, we could do one for actors. And I was like, I don't really know actors. I don't watch it for the actors. I watch it for the content. And then I was like, oh, I guess I know this actor. And then he started naming actors. And then he was like, oh, there's
the one that plays Black Widow.
There's this character and the person that plays it. And I was like, that you don't know the actor. So that doesn't count. You can't just say, there's this character and someone that plays it.
And then I'm
you
like,
don't know the actor.
There's the
and
three guys with the same name in the Marvel universe.
That's what he said. He was like, 3 people with the same name. I was like,
who
you
it
don't know who they are.
Wait, there's 3?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, and Chris Pratt.
There you go. Chris Pratt's the good one.
He knows them. He could have used them. You can't.
I could have just been a prompt. Like, you could have said someone. I would have just like been actor name.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
My favorite movie is Shutter Island.
Yes. You know what? I was thinking of mentioning that earlier for like films with amazing twists in. Like.
Yeah. So mine is Shutter Island, and it's actually weird because like the only reason I ever watched it was because my media studies teacher, who Jacob had a fat crush on, told me to watch it. It was Miss Walmsley.
Oh, right. I didn't realize she did media as well. I was like,
yeah.
Which one could it be? There were several teachers.
Yeah. Jacob was all what I go to school for.
What I go to English for.
Yeah. She mentioned it once in either English or media studies, because we were watching Hide and Seek, which was also a great film. Like that came very close to being on like my favorite movies, so that gets an honorable mention. Prior to Shutter Island, that probably would have been my favorite movie.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
He twitched.
Oh, I see.
I was like doing that. Yeah.
So yeah, prior to watching Shutter Island, that probably would have been my favorite movie. But then I watched Shutter Island and it got knocked off. So yeah, she mentioned it in class, and I was like, well, if it kind of links up to Hide and Seek, I guess I'll watch it. And I watched it and I was like, oh my God, this movie is great. And then I watched it again and I was like, oh my God, it's even better. Suddenly I noticed this. And then I watched it again and I was like, oh my God, how did I not see that? And like, I've kind of got to the point where there are no more twists to notice now because I've watched it so many times. But it is my favorite movie and I show it to more and more people. And like I could literally just watch it on repeat for the rest of my life. So like the other thing, dying. I feel like, to be fair, I should probably say more than that. Like I want people to watch it. Like it has Leonardo DiCaprio in, which is definitely a good first reason to watch it.
Yeah.
But like it's just one of those films that like it's a psychological thriller, but it's like it's not like a horror thriller. No. It's just like very twisty. Like the twist is a really big one and it's a slow build twist. Like the first time you watch it, you really have no idea until the end. Like,
but then it's one of those where you watch it back.
Yeah, as soon as you watch it the second time, you're like, how did I not see this? Like, it makes so much sense. But the first time, you really have no idea till the end. And then you have to watch it again because you're like, I need to see this. I need to understand. I need to know how this came together. Like, and then you watch it again and you're like, absolutely, this makes perfect sense. Like, I'm an idiot. So yeah, that's definitely my favorite. But I feel like I need to give like an honorable mention to basically any Leonardo DiCaprio film.
Hmm.
Like, especially like the more he's grown up, like the more psychological thriller type films he's done.
Yeah.
And it's very much become his niche, and he's an excellent actor. Like, don't get me wrong, Titanic was good. Romeo and Juliet was shit, but
Yeah,
it's one
that's
of
like
those-
the
It's
only,
really
the
funny,
only
though.
film.
yeah, it's one of those must watch because you kind of have to watch everything with him in, and also you just have to watch it. It has to go on your list of
It's. I think it's
I've
just the
seen
dialogues.
this.
I'm gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what really put me off it. I stopped watching after they offered him a pill.
Mm,
Like, so really, really early on at one of the parties. Like, I only got
yeah.
20, 30 minutes into it, if that.
I feel like you kind of have to watch it just to say you've watched it.
I just want to know what the creators of it were on when they did it, because they were like, "Yeah, let's make it a really modern interpretation of Romeo and Juliet." Oh, the dialogue's staying exactly the same though.
It's by Baz somebody, and I'm sure he's done more Shakespeare interpretations. I could be wrong.
I
But
find it really intriguing what they did with it.
the thing is, it's highly acclaimed.
Is it?
Yeah, and like when I did my last Shakespeare review for
Hmm.
my English degree, I got marked down for saying that in comparison to As You Like It, Romeo and Juliet was I compared them. I said it was similarly done, and that basically it didn't stand up, and that Romeo and Juliet was essentially shit. And I got marked down because it's highly acclaimed. And I was like, well, it's my opinion.
How
And
was it
also,
highly
like,
acclaimed?
I don't fucking know.
Like, it's
but-
funny. Like, it's kind of a so bad it's good kind of film.
Yeah, but apparently, like, well, I knew it was highly acclaimed. It's at like 80 something % on Rotten Tomatoes. But I knew that, but it was my opinion. It was my review. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't mark me down for this. Like,
People are weird.
but anyway, so yeah, like anything with Leo DiCaprio in, I would recommend. I can't remember whether he's in it, but definitely Seven. Seven is a great film. Like What's in the Box, definitely one of the most commented. Help. What's the word I'm looking for? Quoted.
Okay.
I was that like memed.
I'm so confused.
Quoted lines from a movie, and I'm not doing the accent, but just the number of people who are like, what's in the box? And it's like, oh my god, stop quoting Seven. Well, I'm not going to say what it is, just watch Seven. It's a great film. It's about the 7 deadly sins, and it's amazing. Book of Eli, great film. Basically any psychological thriller, they are excellent. Butterfly Effect, psychological thriller, like, but yeah,
favorite genres.
yeah, like they're worth watching just because they make you think, and like they're just great. Memento, that's one of my favorite films too. I've kind of gone off track here, but I want to say it all because Memento is a great film because it goes backwards. And it was very confusing. I don't know if it's just because it was late at night and I was tired, but it's basically a film that goes backwards using photographs. And it was just so good. Inception, but that's got Leo in, so I shouldn't have.
That's what it's called.
There you go. As
When you were
Above,
talking
So
about-
Below, that's a good one.
Yeah, when you were talking about Leo films and you were like, oh yeah, the later ones where they get more psychological and everything. And I was like, yeah, like, blah. What's that film called? I literally know it from the noise.
I didn't really hear what you said, Alan.
As Above, So Below. Also great. Again, confusing as hell because I can't really explain it, but they go up and end up down. It's basically the best way to say it.
Yeah, I'm trying really hard not to give the plot away because the whole point of psychological
Yeah.
thrillers is like if
Is
we
not
give the
knowing.
plot away, there's no point watching them.
Like going back to Shutter Island, the closest kind of twist that you didn't see coming, but is really obvious I could think of for people that would have seen it is the I See Dead People film. What's that one?
Oh, Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense. Like that's another film, like not as good as Shutter Island, but there's a twist there that you don't see until the very end.
That's like a very well-known one. That's like
obviously that's like the kind of level that you're talking, but
yeah.
higher. Like
I don't agree. I think Shutter Island is because when I was watching Sixth Sense, I immediately went, "This is what happens."
Oh, fair enough.
Like straight away. I went round to someone's house and he was like, "Oh, have you seen this?" And I was like, "No." And he put it on, and within about 20 minutes, I went, "Oh, clearly," and said,
"Yeah."
And he was like, "Seriously?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh, have you seen it?" I was like, "No, I just."
No, but thanks for confirming I was right.
Like literally, I'm so good at figuring out twists like straight away. But normally with like a good psychological thriller, you can't. And like with Shutter Island, I had no idea. Like I picked up bits and was like, I wonder if.
Yeah.
But it's
Shutter Island,
a
it was
massive twist. It's a massive twist, and it's got so many complex parts to it.
I mean, they do like a mini breakdown of stuff at the end, like not of across the film, but of like the situation.
Yeah, to explain the twist.
Yeah, I can't really say that.
That's the resolution. Like, but throughout the film, it's a very complex twist. That's what I'm saying. Like, they break it down, but it's not like a simple.
It was this, now it's that.
Yeah, it's a very complex. This happened and this happened and this happened and this happened, and actually it's this.
Yeah.
Like, and all of these different things that you think happened were actually this, and this. Like, it's not just it was this and now it's this.
Can we watch it tomorrow?
Shutter Island?
Yeah.
Yeah?
The more we talk about it, the more I want to watch it. So.
Yeah, I've got it on DVD.
It was close as well to being in my top movies. Like.
Sit down.
It'd never beat Willy Wonka, but it's very high up there. And I was going to mention it as kind of like, some films with like amazing twists are these, but yeah.
Don't step on my keyboard or put your ass in my face. Can you like? You're stressing me out.
So
get off the keyboard. Yeah, we can watch it tomorrow, but if it's sunny, I want to go out. I don't think it's gonna be, but I don't really want to be cooped up all day.
No. We'll go for a walk. But that's separate. I think, unless you've got anything more you'd like to say on Shutter Island.
No, if I said any more, I feel like I'd be starting to give away the plot. I just want people to watch it, and then I feel like it's one of those things. The second you watch Shutter Island, you're like, I must see all the films like this.
Yeah,
like that's what set me off. I'd seen Hide and Seek, and I wanted more films like it, but I didn't know how to get there. Because like I watched a lot of horror movies, but then Hide and Seek was one of the few I saw that was a bit more twisty.
Yeah.
Like the end was quite a big like, what the fuck? Like very what the fuck. It was like, oh, so actually it's this, and then straight after that it was like, whoa, wait.
Just seeing Kobe every so often going.
Yeah, he's like reacting to you, like, whoa, wait.
It was birds outside the window.
Is there anything further you'd like to say on Men in Black, Jacob?
It's just Men in Black, innit? Like,
have you seen Shutter Island?
I have seen most of it.
Well, how did you stop?
It's not something I'm going to explain on the podcast.
That's
but
fair, but yeah, definitely watch it all because, like, when you get to the end, you'll be like, "Oh my god!" Yeah.
yeah, I do need to get around to watching it in full properly.
But upcoming releases, obviously, we've had a look into what's coming from 2020 up to about 2022. I'd say so within the next 2-ish years. Excited times. What is everyone looking forward to watching?
Right. Why do I really want to get revenge for the?
Yeah, go for it. No, you go first.
films?
Like, and I'd flex.
Right. Well, the one which is coming out in like a couple of weeks, maybe even less, is Mortal Kombat, which looks really good. I'm surprised how good that looked, and hopefully, I think it's something like it comes out 2 days after cinemas are supposed to reopen. So I'm really hoping, because that's the one thing that like I feel like has been missed a lot over the past year with COVID and everything is films. Because they were all just like, oh no, we're not putting it out without cinemas. So
cinema.
Without cinema, John Wick 4. Obviously, following on from what me and Alan were saying earlier about how good the John Wick trilogy is. The Blade film that Marvel are making. I don't know whether it's going to be a sequel, prequel, reboot, whatnot, but that looks really cool. And then the ones I'm going to steal from Alex, I know he's going to say them, but I also really looking forward to them, is the new Spider-Man film. Well, the new Spider-Man films. So I nearly said Far From Home, but that's the second one. It's
No Way Home.
That's it. My head just went No Place Like Home.
Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home.
Yeah, and my head went No Place Like Home, and I'm like, that's not a Spider-Man film. And then Into the Spider-Verse 2.
I hope for the fourth one, sorry, they do Spider-Man Home Alone, and then
that'd be great.
Culkin comes in or something. Yeah, Into the Spider-Verse 2, because I loved the first one. Like, I wasn't sure at first if I'd like watch it, but then I watched it.
It's so good,
and it was amazing. Like, I think it's great, and all of them are like, they weren't created for that film. They all have their own comic books already. Even Spider-Pig.
Yeah,
it isn't a Simpsons one; it's a real one.
Yeah,
it just so happens to be.
I don't think it's called Spider-Pig, is it?
No, it's not. It's not called Spider-Pig, but no, it's a pig that's bitten by a spider instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they're most of the films I'm looking forward to. I don't think I have much to say on them other than just they all look really good, or are sequels to films that are really good. But I am just looking forward to getting back to the cinema and being able to go out and see films again. I feel like once cinemas reopen, I'm just going to watch random films for no reason.
Do you want to go next, Sally?
Yeah, I can do. I feel like I can literally follow on from that because, like, I am really looking forward to cinemas reopening because I used to go literally like 2 or 3 times a week because I had like an Odeon Limitless card, which is like £18 a month, and you can just go like as many times as you want. Like, you can go like 10 times a day and see like whatever you want, unless it's like a special screening, and you get invited to like premieres and stuff. So I saw, what was it, Ant-Man and the Wasp like the day before it came out or something like that. Get down. So I'm like super excited for cinemas to reopen. And obviously, I'll know when Odeon's going to reopen because they'll take my payment out of my bank. But yeah, like, I've missed that a lot because that was a big thing for me. Like, it was a massive part of, I don't want to say my social life because obviously I went with my ex, so it's not really a social occasion. I'll probably end up going on my own a lot. But I went with my mum sometimes too, and now that Chloe's in Preston, she'll want to come with me sometimes, and I assume Alan will come sometimes when he's not working. But yeah, with regards to films, like when the cinema's open and I've got my Odeon card again, I'll see everything. Like I used to literally see everything. I got my Odeon card and I would see literally every film that came out. Like it didn't matter what genre it was, didn't matter whether I would normally have seen it. And it was nice because it used to actually surprise me, like what films I enjoyed. And it's kind of one of those things where like you put yourself in, I don't really know how to explain this. You get yourself more cultured because you see everything and you see all the trailers for what's coming out because they make them tailored to the kind of film you're watching.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw like all sorts, and like it's nice because I probably would have missed out on films like The Greatest Showman and stuff because I wouldn't have specifically gone to the cinema to see them normally because I would have only been like, oh, I'm going to see the latest Marvel film or the latest DC film. But because I went to see everything, I saw those big movies and then took my mum to see them and stuff. So that was cool. And then I could see them multiple times because I had my Odeon card and I could just go back. And I'm entitled to a CEA card as well because I'm disabled. So I can take one person with me for free. So I can like take my mum and I can just take whoever. But yeah, with stuff that's coming out, I'm excited to see Peter Rabbit 2 because the first one was great. Like it was the best film ever. I love Peter Rabbit. It's like my boo. Not really, but I do love Peter Rabbit. The film was great. I'm excited for Suicide Squad. Like, I'm not super excited. I really enjoyed the first one. Like, everyone blasted it, but I thought it was good. I try to judge films on the fact that they're a film, not on the fact that this happened or this happened. Like, if I couldn't personally do better, I'm like, well, it was a good film because it was a film. Like, it's entertainment. I enjoyed it. So, what's the big deal? And then for me, because I'm a little emo-y goth kid, I'm mainly looking forward to the new Conjuring, the new Halloween, the new Purge film. Just want to go sit in the cinema and sit in the dark and watch horror movies. Like, but obviously, me and Alan have to like watch all of the entire series of every single one first. George will want to watch the Halloween.
Have fun with Halloween.
Halloween, like as long as
Halloween comes out in October, it probably comes out on Halloween.
Yeah. Do we have to do them in chronological order? Can we just do them in release order? Like, which would you prefer?
I don't know which order George normally does them in.
Okay.
So it'll probably be whatever.
I'd imagine with Halloween it'd be release order just because there's so many different timelines and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you'd end up watching the first film like 6 times.
Well, some of them are basically the same thing, just
retold.
But others are follow-ups.
Yeah.
And others just ignore some other films.
Yeah.
Isn't Halloween the one that's also got the space version as well?
No, that's Friday the 13th.
Oh, okay. I know it was one of the two.
But yeah, we'll see.
So I've got like 5 I'm looking forward to. 2 of them Jacob already said, which is Spider-Man No Way to Get Home and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2. The other ones are Space Jam 2 with some tagline that I've already forgot. I think it's something like a new adventure or something because Space Jam was great. Cruella because 101 Dalmatians, 102, 101 2, and the live action ones are great, especially 101 Dalmatians with the song about Cruella de Vil, which goes on for about 30 seconds and that's it, but it's wonderful. So that's going to be cool. And a film that I only found out about today, but I've added it to the list because I watched the trailer and it looked like a great horror. Separation. And like the way that they're doing the baddies or baddie, I couldn't tell you if it's one or multiple yet, was really cool with the kind of like the movement that they've got, the way that they're portrayed, their outfits, and so on. It showed. Usually, I don't really like it when horror films show a lot of what's meant to be scary, but from what I saw, it looks like it was going to be good. And there's one that's pretty much dressed up like Beetlejuice, so who knows?
Really?
So I'm looking forward to it. I think that's 2021. So that should be a cool one.
What have you printed?
Watch. I scanned my footprints.
Why are you running away? It's you that did it.
What's he printed? It's just blank pages.
Yeah. Now he's sat in my paper tray, crushing everything again. Oh, Cats, man.
Cats is a bad film.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. Everyone blasted it, but I'm like, well, at the end of the day, they couldn't exactly do much. Like, they had to animate essentially a musical. And it's a musical where cats are in a city. Like, people expected too much from it. Like,
just not made it into a film.
That's like saying don't make live animation versions of Disney films.
I think with Cats, it depends when you watched it as well, because they did actually patch the film. Because the original release, the CGI was like
awful.
Yeah.
I watched it on like the day of release, though.
Yeah, I don't know whether America was released earlier, possibly. Like, it might have been before it released in the UK that they actually patched it.
I think people just didn't like it though because it wasn't the musical. Like, I think it's the same with, like, a lot of people don't like the live action Disney films, and I'm like, well, you're basically, oh my god, stop it, you're annoying me. It's like you just want it to be the original film, so just don't watch it. Like, if you just want it to be the musical, don't watch it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that is what's pissing people off. They just want it to be perfect. They want it to be the perfect musical. And it's like, if that's what you want, don't watch the film. Basically. Like, I don't know what you're expecting. It's a film. So if you don't want to watch a film, don't watch a film. Like,
watch it so I don't like it.
Like,
I understand where you're coming from, where if you've not watched it and you just outright say it's bad. If you've not watched something and go, this is just bad because it's not the original, sure. But if you've seen the film or whatever it is that you may say is bad, if you don't like it, you've got a right to say it's bad and this is why I think it's bad.
Yeah, because
I think no, you have a right to say you don't like it. You don't have a right to say it's bad.
Okay, I agree with that. Apart from the CGI in Cats, because that was like when it first came out, at least the CGI was just awful. Like, with how much money they put into it, it shouldn't have been that bad, and that's why they fixed it. But I suppose that's more from my, because I always go into that, like, films like that from a technical perspective, because I've done like college and uni, everything in film production and motion designing and stuff like that.
In that vein, there was a film that I thought was going to be bad, but ended up good, which was Sonic the Hedgehog. Like,
I think they did a very good job fixing that.
Yeah, like the main thing that brought me around to watching that is from the advert, the one joke, which was, "Have you got a baby in there?" No. Well, yes, but it's not my baby. Like that joke just brought me around to going, you know what, I'll give this a chance.
Oh, that was good, but it was also the character redesign and everything. Because obviously the
yeah,
first
yeah.
trailer.
Oh yeah, no, the redesign was a lot better.
Have you heard the conspiracy theory though that people are basically saying that they had already designed it like they did in the finished product, but they purposely released a version with a bad CG model to get everyone to go mad at it, so that they can go, oh, we changed it.
No, I didn't hear that, but that
Apparently,
sounds like
that's a conspiracy theory that's going around because they were saying like that in the first trailer, most of the scenes with Sonic were in either dark areas or like wide open. Like I think one of them he's just running down a road.
Yeah.
Like a completely empty road with nothing in the background. And they were saying that because of that, they just made those scenes for that first trailer.
That's fair.
But I do think it's dumb. Like, why would they spend, considering how much money it costs?
It could be a test model, like a placement model, to go, this is the idea we're having. But
yeah, but then they wouldn't have implemented it in a trailer, because usually with a trailer, the film's recorded and it's in post-production by that point.
Very true. Who knows? Not us. Yeah.
Assuming the people who made it might know. The one guy who did it as a troll.
Well, is there anything else we'd like to add to any point of anything? Or is there anything that we've missed out?
Not that I can see.
No.
I've just had a really big craving for pulled pork. I'm just going to add that in there.
I'm having roast beef.
I think ultimately all we can say is that it's up to everyone to make up their own decisions, and we aren't the professionals and be all and end all on any movie. So
But you should definitely watch Men in Black, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and Shutter Island. You should watch those three, 100%.
Yeah.
If that's all you take away from this,
the undisputed top 3 films of all time. No one can say otherwise.
Bro, they're not professionals.
I've got a part of a film degree.
I've got a part of an audio production degree, which I did film with, and science and media studies. So
we're the experts.
We're the experts.
What can we say?
The experts at doing
all those people who have spent years and years, maybe even decades in the industry. Nah, we're the experts.
Nothing compared to us. Right. Well, I think that's it then.
Yeah.
Well, we will maybe see you next week.
I mean, hopefully it would be nice to actually like stay on track with these from here. I've been a little flaky recently, but that's because we finally got back to band practice. So,
and people have been like extremely ill, like in turn.
And then there's been things we've been doing otherwise.
Yeah.
I fell in the shower and I've got a massive bruise on my ass. I would show you, but I don't think it's appropriate.
I don't think it is either, but
I like the butt.
I like the butt too. But yeah, and then obviously I had my ear problems, and then Jacob's just been. I don't know exactly what was wrong with Jacob, but
I just wasn't well that time.
It's like deadly dead.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you have anything you would like to hear us talk about, feel free to hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram,
or in the comments below this video.
I wasn't done. Discord, or the comments below in this video.
Okay. I just wanted to finish your sentence.
And we'll be sure to read it, maybe even probably reply to it, and we might do it, depending what you ask.
Talk about porn.
There is going to be a limit. There is going to be a limit. Yeah. Au revoir. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy your time.